Hello man, my name is Monish and over the past few years I have improved my art significantly and here is where I am right at my journey. I think you might be stuck in a phase of stagnation where your work never gets better and I was stuck in that loop for a few times this year and I figured out that a few habits that I built actually helped me escape these things. And in 2024, if you want to make sure that you don't stagnate and improve very cleanly, you're watching the right video. Well, in this video, I'm going to help you build a few habits. And let's start with what habits we need to build. So there are actually 5 habits that you need to build. And the first among them is essentially the habit of drawing consciously, extending your attention span, and secondarily learning to draw from life, tertiarily learning stuff or relearning stuff and learning more nuanced things. And the fourth and final most is learning other stuff than art, stuff other than art. And 5, just improving yourself in general. Improving in general. I hope you got that. Okay, now let us get into the first habit that you need to be building. That is learning to draw consciously and extending your attention span. Let us see why you need to be doing those. So, why do you need a huge attention span? And why do you need to draw consciously? And what do I even mean by saying draw consciously? Okay. Stop listening to music while you draw. That's what I'm trying to say. Listening to music. At least partially. Switch to hardcore lyrics to lofi. This is because of one thing. You might say, hey, it helps me focus, it helps me calm my nerves and something like that. But imagine yourself writing a maths test with your headphones on. Tell me you're not bound to fail, and I'm going to change the name of this channel if you do so to something like Monstrod or some other more cringe name. Okay. If you say that, I really need to know why you say that. If you don't, well, we're in the same boat. If you stop listening to music while you're drawing, your art will have more intent to it. Say you have this really good sketchbook, you can fill it with your intent. What do I mean by that? Well, let me search for the Starry Night. Okay, what you're seeing right now is essentially Van Gogh's masterpiece. Do you think he listened to music while he drew this? While I might consider it okay for you to listen to lofi music and stuff like that, if you listen to stuff with lyrics, you're essentially losing your attention span 100%. Even lofi takes something like 50 or so. What you're doing is that you're splitting your brain between 2 different tasks. And doing that never seems successful. Like there's a saying that if you try to catch 2 frogs at once, you'll end up catching neither. So while you're listening to music, just listen to music. While you're not listening to music, just draw or do something else. Don't club these 2 activities together, you'll end up not catching either. And the next thing is improving your attention span. How do you improve your attention span and why do you need to improve your attention span? Well, that is one simple answer. And that answer is attention span helps with everything in general. Say you have a 3-hour drawing session. Let me show you my drawing sessions, man. This is an hour long. Oh, this is an hour long actually. And that is an hour long. And that is 32 minutes long. And stuff like this is meant to take a lot of time. I do not record a lot of my videos. I sometimes forget to press record, but still, I am focusing on my image for a bare minimum of 3 hours straight per piece. If you were able to do that in one sitting, think of how coherent your images could be, how clear your compositions could be. Could you really focus on this house? I made sure to try my level best to do that. If you can a little bit, that means I have succeeded somewhere. In this image, do you concentrate on this human here and this woman here? That's because I helped you focus there. If I were listening to music, this image wouldn't look like this. This wouldn't look like this. And that wouldn't look like that. Why? Because I wouldn't have focused as much. It's literally that simple. And improving your attention span means a lot of things. It means stopping watching short form content. You're saying that I need to give up my favorite scroll time? Is that what you mean? You might be thinking. My answer is unfortunately yes, because these guys, they're plotting against us to take our time and convert that into their revenue or attention. You see, when you watch these things like short form TikTok doesn't even exist anymore. It's kind of banned in this country I'm in. And there's TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram, right? These three guys, they want your attention. And for that, they addict you. How? Well, they teach you to only concentrate for 1 minute long. Why? See, think of trying to learn to focus in a counterintuitive way. If you end up practicing to study for 3 hours a day every day, you're going to be able to study for 3 hours a day nevertheless every day without any sort of exhaustion at one point of time. But if you train yourself to study for only 1 minute a day, you can only study for 1 minute a day without any exhaustion. And then you're going to be all washed out. It's the same with drawing. Your sessions have to be long. That's just the way art is. You have to make sure that you have enough attention span to finish a piece. So quitting these social media platforms will help you. A lot of artists are on Instagram, and I'm well aware of this. And I think it's a very toxic relationship between them and Instagram. They have to create content for that. They need to know the trends, and so that they research. And their research time is essentially them scrolling through their feed. I've been in that phase, man. I've had an Instagram account. It was called world7eagle.exe if you want to check it out. And my videos did get a few views, but that didn't mean that I was actually having any success there. That's because neither your audience nor the creators there have any sort of attention span. So that means you'll never form any attachment with them, like here on YouTube. Okay, now you know why and how you can quit. Just simply deleting them. That's how you quit. And the other thing you can do to improve your attention span in the meantime is actually exercising and meditating. You see, meditation has clinically shown to improve your attention span, and you don't have to take my word for it. Go online, look at any research, and if you find something that contradicts this, I'll change this channel's name to whatever you say for a single day or a week, something like that. And okay, now we know how to quit, why to quit, and you are well motivated to quit. Let's go on to the next one. That is step 2. Step 2 is life drawing. Now, on the screen, you might see a picture of my life drawing sketchbook and the pictures that are filled up in it. The one that I'm going to show you right now is one of the chapel I painted when I went outside recently. The other is of the other events. We're just going to do a quick flip through. Why do we do this? Well, the answer is by drawing from life, we are able to build a visual library. A visual library. You're like, mate, what's a visual library? Is that like a place where I can get like my visuals? Yes, you were exactly right. That's exactly what it is, as at face value as its deep value. Okay, so how do you build a visual library? By noticing the things that are out of place. Say you found a Jeep Compass or just a normal Thar or an off-road vehicle on the road, and you find a normal car and you are in the mood to do some life drawing, and you're sitting in a park bench and you're noticing them outside the fence. Well, what do you draw? You draw the cheap compass. You leave the other two cars. By drawing the things that are unusual, you're building up the library to have more things in it instead of just practicing the things you already knew. Just make a loose sketch of its details and you will find everything coming together very fabulously. And why do you need a visual library anyway? The answer is simple. While drawing, a lot of us tend to need references. So we search endlessly and aimlessly on platforms like ArtStation, Chrome, and Pinterest, and so on and so forth. If you do enough life drawing, your visual library is going to make sure that you don't need a lot of references, and it can make you go from having a 24 reference sheet to somewhere around 2. 24 to 2. How much is that an improvement by? Well, if you cancel them out, that's a 12 time reduction. 12 freaking times lower. So that makes you better at drawing, and it doesn't need to make it frustrating you for you to make an illustration, as it's essentially you not needing any references. That's one task out. And number 3 is very, very simple. If you really think about it, that is. Number 3 is reviewing your fundamentals. You must be like, wait. Man, I already know my fundamentals. Why do I need to review them? Well, our brain has this very dirty habit of only taking the things that it feels are necessary and it leaves out the other parts for later. So for the first time you watched a video about perspective, your eyes and your brain will have focused on one point perspective. You will know what the vanishing point is, but do you really know what the horizon line is? Or do you know why we have the horizon line in the first place? Do you know how a fisheye lens works? Do you know how 3-point perspective works? Do you know why we have 3-point perspective? Well, you might answer, I don't really know, mate. That would be the standard answer from you, right? Well, that's because you haven't got enough of it in your head. So every time you hit a roadblock, it's not because you're not good enough. It's because your brain didn't suck enough information in the last time you took to reading your fundamentals. So every time you become stagnant, get through that part and read through the anatomy. This is a very weird skull, but this is what I could draw for anatomy right now. Our eyes aren't over there. They're like a bit over here. Just remember that. Okay, like what do I need to review them for? See, when your poses are becoming too stiff, say something like this, you can learn stuff like rhythms that will help your form flow more naturally. This is a very weird example, but I think we can go with this. Okay, I really didn't mean to do that, but it happened anyway, so let's leave it at that. This is a more fluid flowing form that leads your eyes towards this part of this image over here. I'll just zoom it out a little bit so that you can see it. This is more appeasing to the eye than this is. So that's what I mean. You just have to take a look at your fundamentals. If you're not posing correctly, look at more poses, practice that way, okay? The next thing that you're going to need to look out for is this. Not learning other skills. Learning other skills and other stuff. Wait, this whiteboard has become very bad. Let me get another one. Not learning other things, other stuff. Okay, by this, I mean, why did you even start drawing? Let me ask that question to you. Well, you would say that you felt the need to convey the story of some object you found. Say, I actually like playing volleyball a lot, and I wanted to convey its story. Could that be a sufficient reason for you to draw? I'd say it would be sufficient. Okay, Now that you have a sufficient reason to draw, you draw. And when you start not doing other things in life and you just start getting mesmerized into the art of learning how to draw, you are effectively shutting yourself out from what made you draw in the first place. So you lose all your motivation. As you have no story to tell, you're just going to randomly practice for the sake of it. And what do we know doing something for the sake of it does? It leads to bad quality work, and it's bad for you and for the artwork itself. Okay, now what do I even do, man? Would be the question you ask. The answer is just improving yourself in general in every skill point you can find. Your body is weak, exercise. If your body is feeling weak, drop down and give me 10. If you're feeling that you want to go play badminton, play at least 20 rallies. If you have enough life experiences, stories will automatically come to your mind. If you want to watch a movie, say something like Dune or something like Interstellar, watch that movie instead of just sacrificing that for drawing time, because they will inspire you to make better things. And the better things you make are going to be a lot of times better because they actually have a story behind them. Say, if I wanted to make a graphic novel and I only improved my map drawing skills or my novel drawing skills, will that suffice? I could make some really sick looking panels, but where would that lead us? That would lead us to a place with very bad story, and henceforth I should also write and practice writing and treat it as important. I think you got my point. Learn other things than drawing as well. Improve yourself in every other area as well. Exercise, meditate, do other things that will make your life better and your health for the better. In simple words, drop down and give me 10. And the last thing you need to do in this thing. I only said 5. What's the sixth one? Well, that is improve yourself in general. Again, it's like if you haven't started NoFap, start it now. If you don't know what NoFap is, well, you can search it online. Many people will explain it better than me. It's essentially developing a growth mindset that you can learn whatever it is if you work hard enough. IQ and other things don't constrain you. NoFap is also many other things. That is abstinence. I'm trying to sugarcoat this. I'm going to stop trying to do it. And bro, you got to stop looking at internet pornography and doing that weird shit that you've been doing for long, if you've been doing it. And yeah, that's the end of the video. Grow wealthier, have discipline, become better at your craft. That's all I can say for this video. And I think you got whatever the message it was that I was trying to convey. Thank you for watching and bye.